with a smile, yeah. I see.
Been running ahead, been falling behind, been chasing you in shadows here inside my mind. The places I've been, retrace all your lines. Your silhouette is all I see in every mile. You don't see the way I do, to feel the way that my soul moves. 'Cause every time I look at you, I see my life and feel alive now. Time must be invisible, see what is in front of you, but all I see is beautiful in your eyes. I don't wanna be forgotten like an unfamiliar song that's playing on the radio. No one even knows. I just wanna be a steady rhythm, be a melody of freedom, sing aloud into your heart. I don't wanna be forgotten by you. Been feeling so lost, like a fly on the wall. Just wanting to get closer, but I get it all. I'm calling your name on every breath. I just don't have the courage now to shout it yet. You don't see the way I do, to feel the way that my soul moves. 'Cause every time I look at you, I see my life and feel alive now. Time must be invisible, you see what is in front of you, but all I see is beautiful in your eyes. I don't wanna be forgotten like an unfamiliar song that's playing on the radio. No one even knows. I just wanna be a steady rhythm, be a melody.
Hey Oscar, welcome. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Things are going good. I've did like a little bit of a side project this week, so that's why I didn't do a lot of streaming. Um, so yeah, that side project was a lot of fun. But things are going well. So hopefully now I can get back into this and kind of continue the work. Oh, the beta. The beta is pretty far away. You got to remember, I got a day job. And, of course, sometimes I lose focus like I did this week. But yeah, the beta is still quite a ways away. Yeah, everything takes a long time, and sometimes you get tired and you want to take a break from things, and you know, like I did this week. So I had a couple of days that I did something like a side little project that I wanted to do for a while. So that you know, that definitely took some time, but it was a fun learning experience. So hopefully I'll be able to make use of it at some point in the future. Hey, Pixel Party. So that is an HDRI. It's from the marketplace. So if you're interested in getting it, it's a package called 25 Skies, and it is. I think when I got it, it was on like a really discounted sale. So if you pay attention, you'll be able to find it pretty easy. And it's got, I think, 20. I mean, it says in the title like 25 skies. So it's got 25 of these, which are really nice, and it comes with a pretty useful blueprint, which I'm actually using right now. Though I end up tweaking things in it. So, but the blueprint, you know, already has the, you know, the volumetric, the exponential fog in it, and the atmospheric fog, I believe. So, and it just tweaks some of the settings in the blueprint values, which is nice. You know, it's definitely useful. So, all right. So what I'm trying to do here is kind of like the area that you're gonna land in at the beginning of the game, you know, to try and you know, kind of set some boundaries around it so it doesn't look, you know, completely. I mean, it's gonna be localized in this area in the beginning, but I want to make it so that and hopefully the music is not too loud. And I'm saying that while I'm turning up the volume. But so yeah, so this area is like kind of just to kind of give a little bit of a wider perspective, along with also like when you come into with the plane and you do crash, you actually, this area is going to be visible, so it's not like so you have some kind of point of reference, so to speak. So yeah, this is what I'm trying to do today, kind of just you know, setting up some of these boundaries here, and you know, trying to see how I can how that could work out. Like you know, areas of this is going to be blocked off. So what I did, I created this little blueprint where I put together a bunch of these rock meshes, and let's pull that in. Let's see that how that looks. It actually, I think it turned out okay. Oh, actually, I'm using it on this corner here, if I remember, if I recall correctly. It's, oh yeah, it's this one right here. So, yeah, this is kind of what I've thrown together, and you know, to kind of you know, lock the area down a little bit, and so, you know, stuff like this would maybe work on like corners like this of the map. And probably the map is also going to have kind of an open. I mean, once you come in with the plane, this whole area is going to be kind of visible here. So, and probably some bigger, you know, ground meshes in the background here that to kind of cover the area. So, but you know, as far as the starter playable area is going to start around here, and yeah, so maybe in the future could be expanded on. Nah, I just want to switch the levels, I guess. So let me just change something here. Sometimes whenever I post the videos to YouTube, I do get kind of a copyright thing, and that affects certain countries out there that do not. So I'm just gonna have it kind of like a lounge music in the background. Okay, so with that said, I still haven't selected this level here. And it's this one. So let's try and use this one to kind of set a little bit of a boundary here. And I'm not sure if this one, maybe this one is not going to work because I've made some of these a little bigger. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm using OBS, but you know, so far I've only streamed just for the fun of streaming. I wasn't really um, and you know, usually during the stream there's not a lot of people. I mean, or yeah, there's not a lot of people usually, and I um, I end up just not really talking. So hopefully, okay. So this is what I meant as far as this kind of blueprint, that it covers up areas pretty well, and you know, you can always you know, to kind of paint the terrain up a little bit and you know, fix some of these things. But you know, for now I'm just gonna kind of put it in like so, and let's do this corner here. So I'm actually using 3 meshes from Quixel, trying to just you know, kind of not go overboard with you know, too much memory being used here. All right, so let me delete a couple of these trees on the edge here. There we go. And maybe I'll paint this down. So I'm gonna try and like round this corner up a little bit. Oh my God, that's such a good idea, Oscar. I hope they would do something a little bit easier on selecting the, or at least breaking them up by category or something like that. I think that'd be useful to have. But yeah, I'm not seeing it happen anytime soon, I don't think. So let's see, how do I want to do this one here? Whoa, I went a little too far with it. So I'm going to hide this showcase, this level. Maybe it's going to work a little bit better, I think. See if I can get something. Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. And especially, you know, for this map, I'm definitely going to cut most of these assets down to probably not at least by a third, because a lot of them are mushrooms or other smaller items that came with the map that I'm not going to make use of, and the player is not really going to notice as much. So there's like 5 different types of mushrooms. I think, yeah, one, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 types of mushrooms. So yeah, that's gonna definitely help out. All right. Let's move some of these things hopefully into place somewhere around here. Let's see, maybe we'll do something like this. See if I can make this a little bit more horizontal like so. There we go. Yeah, yeah, it is. Well, so actually, so once you have the level selected, like it's only showing the vegetation on that level. Hopefully that's what you meant. So for example, this one has the large amount of kind of, which is good from a detail wise standpoint, but a lot of these I'm just gonna delete. So, from the slew of things, I'm hopefully gonna cut it back down to half. But once I go into, for example, and I double click on the showcase level, it only has these, which I'm using kind of for the distance background areas. But yeah, I mean, since I haven't had a lot of experience with the world building aspect of Unreal, uh, I mean, for me it kind of works. So, um, I mean, I'm not really complaining. Okay, I think that would look pretty good, and I don't have to worry about that detail on that side too much because it's going to get blocked like this. So let's try and flatten the terrain to about this point here. Yeah, but I mean, so in the end, it works. I cannot be happier with Unreal, to be honest with you. I did another build this week, and I had no issues, even with the LPVs in it. Like a build for production. Now that doesn't really matter that it's going to work uh, in every single uh, computer out there. I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be okay. So, all right. So let's actually sculpt some terrain. I think I'm going to try and bring it up to this for a target. And let's do a fall off that's a little bit harder, like this. Oh, there's always going to be, and that's one of the things. So one of the things for me is not necessarily the, when it comes to Unreal and software in general, it's a lot of people uh, acquire like a lot of technical debt, and I think whenever you do, you kind of focus on getting all the improvements. You kind of miss on some of the issues that you have. So. I mean, I would definitely pass on, some of these kind of unnoticeable improvements over, more stability and, things of that nature. Come on, just a little bit here. There we go. I think this is kind of the edge. I'm not sure if this can be out there. Perfect. Well, so yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I can't say that it's an interesting technology, and hopefully it will, progress as things move along. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. All right, that corner is pretty well in place. Let's do a little bit of I think I'm gonna try and use this mesh here to hide the terrain. If the player goes to the edge, hopefully they're not gonna be able to see that. This is like the fun part of game development, I guess. I like it a lot. Trying to like kind of piece things together. All right, let's see. Can we do something about this little lip here? Yeah, that's a good point, Oscar. Yeah. Okay. That jumped quite a ways. There we go, like that. And I actually have an idea for this little area here. Um, so let's see if that works. Da, 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 da. Let's see, this is going to be sometimes it's annoying with Megascans. Like whenever you export some of the assets, they get placed into like a surface, and then there's like surfaces, or 3D assets. There's a 3D assets, kind of double directories there, so maybe an issue with their exporter. Who knows? I think this is what I was looking for. So I mean, if you so choose to jump on that. Oh, okay, that's a good point. What's interesting is that apparently I can't flatten it past this point. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, and you know, I was thinking of doing packing these up, but since I usually don't use metallic, I just use the roughness, and sometimes I just don't even use a roughness. I just use like a scalar value. So I'm kind of cutting it up like that as well. Guess I'm just gonna get rid of this and try and like fudge it this way. There we go. Yeah, it's you know, it's not a headache. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna complain. It's definitely not. It's just that this particular mesh doesn't have a good lip that I could work with. I mean, I actually had to create that myself since it was just a flat surface. It wasn't like a closed mesh. So um, that's why I ended up with that like that. But you know, in the end, it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna be just fine. Like I just have to like rotate these around a little bit and kind of move them in place. So there, and that's perfect. And I think I still have enough terrain here that I can like I can sculpt up to the point of it. So that should be just fine. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's flatten to this point. There we go. That worked out pretty well, I think. And I can actually even sculpt it up a little bit more over here. So there, cool. All right, that'll work. So now we just have to let's take a look at that showcase level. I guess it was called showcase, but we'll see how this one works once you get to this edge, like how much you're going to be able to see. One thing that I really did enjoy doing is these little islands in here that I can just like kind of move around and you know, break up the surface a little bit. But yeah, since the water is, you know, there's no translucency to it, it's just simple shader. Um, it's pretty low on cost. Okay. I guess that mesh that I was kind of thinking of using, I can add that here on, like right on the edge of the cliff. I think that would look quite alright there. Just trying to break up that edge of you know, where the terrain comes in, and so there we go. And let's actually use this big boulder to kind of hide this as well here. Not sure why it's moving so slow. It's been doing weird things lately with me streaming. Because there's no navigation that it would have to uh, work out, so it's kind of weird. Yeah, so one of the things that I had to do with all these rocks from Megascans, I had to like tweak the desaturation of the texture, the colors a little bit, so that since they're like from different areas of the world per se, you know, they would sort of match in color, so hopefully they fit in all right. I think they do. Okay, so let's I'm gonna try and move some of this terrain to kind of cover this area here, and let's see how that turns out. So the way I have this set up is kind of like all these like background meshes are uh, pretty big, like they're 5 times the size because they're gonna be just in the background, and some of these, the ones that are kind of closer to in view, they're a little smaller. Yeah, that's true, but I mean, in the end, that's the fun thing about the game and design, right? It's you get to make it as you like it. So see how we can get these a little bit blended together like that. Cool. So yeah, I guess even the view from these little islets, they looks kind of okay. Okay, so let's get back to our viewpoint, vantage point here. Let's see, how much do I need to go? Like if the player was to go on this edge here, so they'd be able to see that. Maybe I'll just move this one here to that point. There. And they're kind of like, there's a couple of shapes for these, because this one is kind of looking a little repetitive, so let me try a different one like that. Okay, that's slightly different, so I think that should work okay. But the interesting thing about it, I was used to Unreal crashing by now, at least once, which didn't, so great. Alright, so let's paint a little bit of vegetation here. Oh, and apparently I painted a bunch of grass, which I'm not really interested in painting on these distant areas. Just gonna try and paint them on these little ridges. Um, Let's see, what can we see from here? Do a little bit of silhouettes back here. I think a lot of it is kind of in the shadows, like just kind of giving a little bit of a shadowy thing to the background. It'll be good. All right, okay, I like that. And so I'm just gonna do a couple more of these little islands here, or I mean whatever you want to call them. Okay, let's jump into game mode. See how things are looking. Yes, at least from you know, if there's anything that is you know, that shouldn't be seen and that is seen. I'm trying to think of a different way. I might actually add like a terrain underneath so I can kind of sculpt up and give some edging to this. I'm thinking about doing that. I'm not entirely sure if I will, but maybe something to so okay. Let me see if this level is actually supposed to be loaded. I can't remember if I did do that already. Set map. Apparently not. Doesn't look like I'm loading that level. So let's add that in. Uh, 50, maybe I'll call this 70 here. Yeah, that's true, Oscar. That's actually a great point. I might just I might just make like a big island and then use a little smaller mesh, like the same mesh, to just kind of do the outline of it or something like that. Or maybe just use like a rock. I mean, that could be something. All right, so 60. Um, so let's see if oh, did I actually haven't called it yet? I'm still calling it. All right, let's give this a try. Yeah, so this is kind of what I meant as far as the. Yeah, I need to see about that. Not sure why it runs so terribly. Um, I guess so. I'm just gonna have to do a little bit of work on this waterfall here so it looks a little bit better. Oh, come on, really? I guess that waterfall did not have collisions as expected, and I fell through the thing. Hmm. Just trying to figure out why it performed so badly. Like it was doing totally fine before the stream. And I'm getting a bunch of issues in the message log. So maybe that could be running into some kind of tick events on one of these lights. Uh, but let's see how that looks over in that corner. Oh, I forgot. I guess these don't have collision. These little cliff edges. Yeah, I guess there's no collision to that. Let's see, what would be the default one? How would this look? Pretty good, but I think I can I'm always confused about which one's the hull count. These are like so confusing. That's a little bit better. Okay, I think that will have to be like that. That should be okay. Alright, but yeah, I mean, it's everything that should be visible is visible here, and what shouldn't be isn't, which is good. And it's kind of a little decent looking distant view. Let me see, how am I doing on the shaders? I think the shaders should be quite okay at this point. Um, I mean, this is some particle in the distance, and I mean, I think it should be fun. It's not too bad. And there's this waterfall which is translucent, and the river. And besides that, there's only like these particle effects here. But everything else is pretty green, so I'm okay with it. I mean, there's not much in terms of light complexity, so that should be pretty good, I think. And so yeah, I guess what could be done just around this corner might be a little bit of a cleanup. Um, some of these trees so they don't grow out of the rock. That's a little too many. Whoa. I think that'll be fun with that. deleting that one. I'll have to merge these two here to figure out a way to do that. But besides that, everything that the player will be able to see is pretty much where it's supposed to. Yeah, so I think what I was gonna do is remove a few of these mushrooms. I mean, there's not a lot of them that got painted, but there is quite a few types, which, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense to me. In a real forest it does, but like these two are identical, so there's no point in having them. These three, I mean, same. And a lot of these grass meshes, I'm gonna try and dig at them and you know, isolate which one I need to remove. But on the other terrain, I by mistake painted a bunch of grass, which I don't need. So there we go. Well, so let's see if I can make like a little bit of a bigger island out of one of these little ones. If I should do like one on the side, maybe I'll do this one here. So maybe move this one a little bit this way, and then try and see if I can make this one into a bigger island. See how that would look. Oh, and I think what I wanted to do, so I've been doing this lately since I found out. You can do like control 1 and set your camera here. So let's do, I think this might be a control 6. And you just jump back to that original position, which is nice. Let's see how we can get this. To look like an island, maybe? Or not, I mean, just look apart. I'm trying to see if I can make it into like some kind of a different shape. No, so this area at this point in the game is not going to be reachable. It's just going to be, oops, I'm kind of jumping between cameras. It's just going to be a little vista. So, the playable level doesn't look so constrained. You know, like it doesn't look. It's not just the rock walls, right? So, you know, part of it is going to have stuff like this. You know, that's going to limit you. But I didn't want the whole thing to be made out of that. So I wanted to make some sides of this, like, you know, like you could, oh yeah, there's like there's another part of the world, or like, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, that's what I was trying to do with this. Okay, yeah, so that looks a little bit more like a little bit of a bigger island, so to speak. Um, and maybe a bigger one could be added thing over here. No, I did not. These are just mega scans. So, um, you know, making stuff like this, if you were to do it by hand, takes a ton amount of time. So, um, yeah, scans is the way forward. Unfortunately, I mean, unfortunately, there's definitely a place for sculpted stuff, but yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be less and less so.
There's no difference at all. Your mind is what there is. Everything. The only way to find that out is to persist in the state of illusion as hard as possible. That's one way.
Yeah, and I guess sometimes what I hate is that some of these trees, whenever you paint them on a mesh, they don't like rearrange properly or easily like that. So
Resolutely and consistently. What you're doing already. So if you want to believe that the earth is flat, you can't talk it. He knows it's flat. So he's obviously it's flat. So the only way to convince him that it is flat is to say, well, let's go find it.
okay. So yeah, there's like some shadowing going on. I mean, not too far in the distance, but you know, kind of to this distance, it should be fine. Yeah, I think those rocks kind of break up the water a little bit, or like not rocks, but little islands. Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna look okay for now. That would be something that and maybe yeah. The more sometimes when you just go around and look at things, kind of like, oh yeah, this could be a little bit sculpted in, like especially this hump here. I don't like so. Um, let's sculpt it down a little bit. Not sure why it's working so slow today. Alright, that's a little bit better. Cool. Yeah, so this is what I was kind of thinking of, when it comes to like the boundaries of um, this level, to use stuff like that. Maybe on this side I'll also do a little bit of a vista similar to the one that we just did. Um, I'm just giving the same view of the terrain that way. So Brambleo, this is Megascans is free with Unreal. So if you use Unreal, you get free access to Megascans. So all these were free. Well, I mean, I guess not all of them because I had a subscription at some point and I used it. um, but yeah, nowadays it's free. So that stuff is bought. So there is I'm actually using a couple of packages from the marketplace because yeah, the marketplace is awesome. I have to say it's really good. So one of them is called um the Forest. Actually, let me show you because they have so similar names that so maybe that way you can see exactly what I'm looking at. So one of them is called a forest for forest for forest for forest environment set, and this is one of them. Oh, and it's looks like it's on sale. I actually got it for a little bit of a bigger sale. It was like $29.99. So this is one of them, and the other one is called so it's from Nature Manufacture, and the other one is forest, maybe just forest environment. I can't remember. There's like it's this one, the forest, I guess. This one's a little bit more expensive. So, but I mean, so when I got it, it was just being released, and it was like a lot. It was like I think $40 cheaper than this. But um, there's I think there's like other pine forest packs in here that are cheaper. Like for example, this one or this one. These are also really good looking. Yeah, and there you go. There's some free stuff in the current free ones. For me, this is the one that I really like because it already came with already a built map, which saves me some time. And while I went about and changed some things in it, like to give a little bit more variety. Um, it's for me, that's a lot of help. You know, whenever that thing is already the map is already made and it's a good looking map, performs well. That's what I was happy with. So that's one of the big reasons. And you know, it's already at uh, so well made that I can, you know, cut things out of it. You know, maybe in a need to improve on performance or stuff like that. So. Um, yeah, there's actually I think a couple of packets like free packages that are free right now. So which is really good. All right, so um, I think that's going to be it for this stream. For now, I will try and do more streams next week since um, you know there's people joining from you know multiple time zones. Hopefully, some of you guys will be able to join. Um, so hopefully, I'll see you in those streams. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great Sunday for the rest of it. So, and you guys take care, and hopefully we'll see you around. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully, hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you. You too. See you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.